Everybody at a craps table has rules. Don't say 7. Same dice. Don't buy during a mid-roll. Don't bet on the don't, or maybe don't touch the dice with both hands. Yeah. The problem is some of these are actual casino procedures, and well, some are just dealing with the etiquette of the game, and others are just complete bullshit. So today, we're putting 7 of the biggest craps rules on the examination table. We're going to find out if they're real, rude, superstitious, or just complete BS. Welcome to Table Slide Chats with me. I'm Bob. And today, the Craps Antidote Clinic, well, we're open. All right, so our first patient writes in, why does the dealer care if I touch the dice with 2 hands? They're my dice. I'm shooting, right? Well, this is actually a real rule, and published casino guidelines tells shooters to handle the dice with 1 hand, keep the dice visible to the entire crew, and send both dice all the way to the opposite end of the table and hit the wall. Now, the exact wording can vary from casino to casino, but if the crew tells you 1 hand, that is a normal game procedure, not a superstition. And the reason is actually pretty simple because it deals with game integrity. The crew needs to know where those dice are and that nothing has been hidden, switched, or even manipulated. No, the casino is not going to accuse Grandma of running some international dice switching ring or anything like that. But they must be aware of the dice at all times. So yes, this does look like a pretty clear case of acute bilateral manual dice manipulation syndrome, right? Yeah, sounds serious, but fortunately the treatment is pretty easy. Just use 1 hand on the dice at all times, keep them where the crew can see them, and listen to your dealer. That way everybody can go home healthy, right? Around here we have 2 rules. Play smart, press hard. And now you can wear it too. Grab some KC Craps gear, represent the channel, and let everybody know how you roll. Play smart, press hard, have fun. All right, so our next patient writes in that they have developed a pretty serious fear of one particular word. Why does everybody lose their mind if somebody says 7 while a point is on? Can saying it actually jinx the shooter? Just gonna come out and say it right now. Stop. No. Saying the word 7 does not change what happens on the next roll. With fair dice, every roll is independent. What somebody says at the table cannot change the mathematical probability of the next result. So if somebody tells you saying 7 actually causes a 7 out, that part is superstitious. Now, there is an etiquette side to this. If you know everybody at the table hates hearing the word and you keep just saying it because you think it's funny, the dice still don't care. But everybody around the table probably does. So yeah, this is a classic case of acute 7 lexem auditory trigger response syndrome. Woo! Complicated sound, but in plain English, you heard somebody say 7 and now you think the dice are coming to kill you. No, not true. Now, if you're the guy who keeps saying it just to piss everybody off, well, congratulations. We have found a second condition. You're not unlucky, you're just being a pain in the ass. And the treatment is actually pretty simple. Understand that the word has absolutely no effect on the dice, and maybe you should read the room. Math doesn't care what you said, humans do. I'm not afraid of the word, I'm afraid of the 6 people glaring at me as I say it. That's what you gotta be thinking. The prognosis is good, although symptoms tend to return immediately following the next 0.7 out. Oh, crap. Fell right off the table, didn't it? Oh, well. All right, guys, welcome back. So our next patient, well, they have developed a fairly unhealthy emotional attachment to one specific cube of plastic. They wrote in, why do people start yelling, "Same dice," when one of them happens to fly off the table? Does replacing the dice actually change anything? I'm just going to go ahead and stop you now. No. Replacing one of the dice does not change the probability of the next roll. The idea that a particular pair of dice somehow that are hot and replacing one of them will kill the shooter's luck or momentum, that's all pure superstition. Now, what the casino will actually do with those dice that leave the table is a different question. That part can be house dependent. The crew may inspect it, return it, or replace it completely, or even offer another die depending on the property and the situation. So the casino procedure will vary. The magic powers of that specific die, they never existed, so don't worry about it. Yep. This is a pretty classic case of post-ejection same dice dependency syndrome. This usually presents when one die hits the floor and somebody yells at the table thinking, "We've lost a family member, oh no." So the escape die is somehow both lucky and cursed at the same time. Not quite sure how that works. So there is not a memorial service required for the cube of plastic. The die went sightseeing and it will be okay. Treatment for this is pretty simple. Let the crew handle the escapee. Take whatever dice they give you and just keep playing. If you want the same die back because it makes you feel better, fine, go ahead and do that. Just don't confuse your ritual with something that changes the math of the table. Prognosis is generally excellent unless a second die happens to escape from the table, and at which point symptoms may become severe. All right, our next patient may be suffering from probably one of the most dangerous conditions known to the craps table. They write in, why does everybody get mad when someone buys in during a roll? I'm just going to go ahead and shake my head. No, I can't believe this. Can throwing cash on the table really cause a 7 out? I'm just going to go ahead and calmly state no. Putting cash on the table does not change the probability of the next roll. There is no mathematical mechanism where a $100 bill hitting the felt suddenly causes the dice to land on 7. But, this is a big but, there is a real etiquette issue here. Buying in at a bad time can interrupt the crew, slow down the game, cover active bets, and disrupt the rhythm of a hand that is already in progress. The cleanest move is to wait for a natural pause and follow the dealer's direction. Exact procedures can vary by property, but the cash itself is not jinxing the shooter. Yeah, this is pretty much a clear case of acute mid-roll currency introduction compulsion disorder. Translation: your money did not summon the 7. Now, if you walk up to the middle of a hot hand and toss money across the active bets while everybody is waiting for the next roll, we may have just found a second problem. You did not cause the 7. You might have just annoyed everybody at the table. Craps players are sometimes half right for completely the wrong reason. That $100 bill that you just tossed on the table has a lot of power for a piece of paper. The treatment for this is simple. Wait for a natural break, listen to your dealer, put your cash where they tell you, and let the game keep moving. And the next roll, if it's a 7, blame the dice. They're the ones that actually did it. So far, we've got a real procedure, a couple superstitions, and one situation where the table may hate you for a perfectly non-magical reason. But now, we don't need to diagnose the patient everybody at the craps table loves to hate, the don't pass better. Oh boy. Be patient with me. Here we go. Is betting the don't pass actually rude? Aren't you basically betting against the shooter and everybody else at the table? No, you're not. The don't pass is a completely legitimate craps wager. It's printed right there on the layout. The casino books it, the dealer will pay it, and it is part of the game. So simply making a don't pass bet is not rude. What can be rude is how you behave when it wins. If the shooter sevens out, everybody around you just lost. And you start screaming, dancing, high-fiving yourself. Yeah, celebrating in everybody's face. The problem isn't the bet anymore, it's you. This is commonly referred to as chronic contrarian wagering social hostility syndrome. And I've got great news for you. Betting the don't isn't the disease. But if the entire table just got smoked and you're doing a victory lap around the stick man, we may have found the actual problem. You're allowed to win. You don't have to make everybody else miserable while you do it. Quietly collect your chips. Live your best dark side life. You didn't betray the shooter. You made a bet at a casino. The treatment, well, it's pretty simple. Bet whatever side of the table you want. Collect your money when you win. And maybe don't celebrate somebody else's loss like you just won the Super Bowl. All right, our next patient appears to have developed an unusual sensitivity to casino staffing decisions. And they write in, every time the stick person changes, somebody at the table will say, the 7 is coming. Is there actually anything to that? No. No, no, and no again. A dealer rotation does not change the probability of the dice. The person holding the stick can change. The dice still have the same 6 faces, the same combinations, and the next fair roll is still independent of every previous and future roll. Now, if turning your bets off during a stick change is part of your personal ritual, go ahead, knock yourself out. But it is not a mathematical advantage. Oh yeah, and this one, here we go, listen to this. Acute dealer rotation probability displacement anxiety syndrome. Whew, that's a nasty one. That's a mouthful. Apparently, the stickman clocks in, immediately gains the supernatural ability to control 2 pieces of plastic with a stick. Imagine having that much power as an employee at your job. Clock into stick position and instantly destroy the table. Yeah, that'd be... No, that's not how it works. If casinos could summon 7s with staffing rotations, I honestly don't think they would ever stop rotating the dealers. Treatment for this. Let the dealers rotate. Make whatever betting decisions you want and understand that the person holding this stick did not change the probability of the next roll. Okay, time for our final patient. And, well, unfortunately, they have apparently developed a condition involving an inability to know when the betting portion of the program has ended. They write in, why do dealers get so worked up about hands and late bets when the shooter already has the dice? Isn't there still time before they land? This is a real rule, and so I need you to really focus in here. Ready? Once the dice are moving, you'll hear the dealer say, dice out. They'll announce it real loud. The crew does not want hands, chips, cash, or any late action entering the landing area. Bets must be established before they are passed out to the thrower. And movement while the dice are in flight can create confusion over whether a wager was actually booked. More importantly, you can physically interfere with those dice. Exact late bet handling can vary by crew and property. But when the dealer tells you to get your hands out, they are protecting the game. This is commonly referred to as acute wandering extremity late wager interference complex. Translation? Get your damn hands out of the way. And if the dice are already flying and you're still trying to get that last horn bet in, doctor's orders. You missed it. There will be another roll, I promise you. Here is what I love about the game of craps. The table has real rules, real procedures, real etiquette, and an absolutely ridiculous amount of folklore layered on top of all of it. And some of the superstition is, well, frankly, part of the fun. If you want the same dice because they feel lucky, hey, go ahead, knock yourself out. If you turn your bets off when the stick changes, have at it. Just know that the difference between a ritual you enjoy and a rule everybody else is supposedly required to follow, real procedure protects the game, Etiquette protects the people playing it. Superstition protects absolutely nothing. But it does give us a whole lot more patience for this clinic. Now I need your case files. What is the weirdest craps rule maybe, superstition, or piece of table etiquette somebody has ever sworn was absolutely true in the game? Put it down in the comments below, and if it's bad enough, we'll diagnose it on the next Craps Antidote. If you like today's craps education that doesn't feel like homework, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It will help me out immensely. Also looking for your likes, comments, anything you guys want to throw my way. I read all my comments. Apparently, this clinic right here, we're going to stay open. So we're taking your cases. We'll see you next time.